Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Geminis, let's go ahead and jump on into this. Um, I wanted to make sure you guys finally got two videos in a week. It has been a nightmare in the last couple weeks, and it was a big struggle to even get one out for everybody. So, we're finally, I think, I always say this and then life can go crazy, but I think we're back on track. So, this is your second of the week, Gemini, just like everybody else's. So we have kind of wanted to ask the question, what's coming up next? And we have a 10 of Pentacles, which is amazing. That's great energy. That's the energy of togetherness. It's the energy of individuals like sharing energy, supporting each other, giving to a situation. This could be that on the horizon, Gemini could have friends, family, people that they love showing up in their life, supporting them. We have the Tower. We also have a collapse of some kind of energy that has. This can be the collapse of an ego. This can be some kind of energy shakeup or shift. Or if we go from a 10 of Pentacles to the Tower, I don't feel like there's a loss of anything. I almost think that there's this overwhelming support that could be very humbling. It might be that Gemini is going to be surprised to see how loved they are. We have the Seven of Cups. This changes everything. I think Gemini is going to be very shocked to discover how much they're cared about, how much they're loved, how much they are supported by others, how much they are valued, how much they, perhaps if they didn't know this anyway, I think that this could change the way Gemini looks at their future. It could be, the Seven of Cups is so many options, so many different ways that my life could go. And sometimes more doorways open for us when we have an unexpected amount of like this bounty that comes into our life. And this does look like a very bountiful, possibly even like a financially, like a support or a financial boom. That's the word I'm looking for. We have a Spirit of Wands. That's that Queen of Wands. If Gemini is on the cusp of having some lovely support network around them and lovely opportunity to absorb this, they may be surprised at how much better they feel about themselves, about the direction their life is going. It's almost like Gemini is going to be surprised that people admire them, surprised, and like I said, maybe humbled that, wow, I had no idea that this is the kind of opinion others had of me. I had no idea. This makes my heart feel really warm. This makes me feel like people come to me because they think I have value. And that's, it can always be really nice. Like, I don't know if Gemini is going to find out that people have said something good behind their back about them. And it's like, wow, I had no idea. It could also be that if other people have gotten together and like nominated Gemini for something, it could be a pretty big surprise. And that also opens up these different opportunities where it's like, wow, I had no idea that what I've been doing has, built a reputation for myself. I didn't realize. So what should I do with this now? I just keep seeing Gemini is highly prized, whether or not they knew that. Gemini might also be looked at as quite the fashionista, or it doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine, but they do come across as our most attractive queen here. We have the Magician. I am getting this vibe that somebody, either maybe a group of people first, but then a particular person has like big plans for Gemini. Somebody who wants to manifest or co-create with Gemini, somebody that has seen, like Gemini is very impressive. And I think, sometimes people can be working every day, doing their best, and they don't think anybody notices. But in fact, many people have noticed. That's what this storyline looks like. Gemini has been spotted. They have been, headhunted. They have been identified as somebody who has so much to offer. And I kind of think that this is Gemini catching the eye of somebody who really sees that they would like a chance to either manifest something with Gemini, although technically this is Gemini Virgo energy. So maybe this is going to be Gemini who says, wow, if I can, if surprisingly this is how people see me, then maybe I should see myself this way. Maybe I should do something with this, let's say, star power. Let's say Gemini has unexpectedly gained quite a following, and Gemini is realizing that they can do something with this. I would still hold to the statement that other people want to be around Gemini. They care about Gemini. They like Gemini. We've got a Four of Cups here. That Four of Cups is the energy of like, I want to, because I'm hearing that song. I don't know who sings it, if it was Doris Day or what, but Our Day Will Come. I think it's Doris Day. I can't think who sings it. But it feels like this has been coming for a long time for Gemini. Their success, their moment to be in the spotlight, their moment to be highly prized and, you know, be somebody that others want to deal with, that has been on the horizon for a very long time. That has been coming. And it's kind of like this moment has been protected, saved, and now it's being gifted to Gemini. High Priestess. Gemini's kind of known this. Like, I knew someday I would get that my moment, or I knew someday this would catch on, or someday the things I've been doing would actually start to make an impact, or maybe someday somebody would see what I'm picturing almost like, you know, sometimes we have singer-songwriters that are never discovered, and then one day they are, and it's like they've been this underground phenomenon that suddenly goes mainstream. And it's like, why did people not recognize these great talents before when they've been there all along? And I can only say, maybe it's because Gemini had to be ready for this level of success. They had to step into the Queen of Wands energy and own this. And sometimes we are our own worst critic or worst enemy. If Gemini had received this kind of like accolades and this kind of opportunity earlier, maybe they wouldn't have felt deserving of it, or they wouldn't have handled this surge of success as gracefully as they now will. Hi guys, so great to see you. Cherry, Hecate's heart, wonderful to see you. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Gemini knows this because we just got the Queen of Wands in the reverse right after we had that High Priestess. This is like Gemini's going, it's true. I'm only just now ready for this. Maybe before I would have been, even shy to receive this kind of attention. Look, Gemini has to be in bold energy. They have to go ahead and swagger and swashbuckle their way right into this moment. This is their moment to shine, or this is the moment where I don't think that this is just like a moment of somebody falling in love with Gemini. I think that this is this flood of success. That first card says it's wealth, it's success, it's stardom. It's Gemini holds in their hands, like the power to do great things with whatever this newfound, monetary success or star power is. And I think in the past, they would not have either known how to handle it. And this is Gemini admitting it. Like, I would not have been ready. I wouldn't have felt, like I knew how to handle this, or maybe I would have shied away from it, or maybe I would have even rejected it. Now I've got the strength and the confidence to go ahead and work with this kind of success that's coming into my life. I feel empowered. I feel deserving. That's a really important thing too. If you don't feel deserving of good things in your life, you're probably gonna, ignore them, cast them aside. This is like the person who gets, discovered, and it's like, wow, we want you to perform and we want to give you this big contract. And instead of them signing it and taking their place in the spotlight, they like run away, never respond, don't answer their phone, and try to hide because they're like, I don't want to, I don't think I can be famous. I don't think I can do this. Gemini is like meant to receive all this abundance, and more than that, they're ready to receive this. That's really great to see. Oh, okay. So now we get into possibly a topic of love as well. So is that what this is? Is that why we have the 10 of Pentacles? Is it everything all at once? This could be almost like systems overload. Maybe Gemini is going to have, notice how even the hands are layered, right? We have two people whose hands are underneath. Then we have two more hands on top of theirs. And it's kind of like the stacked, layered, maybe Gemini is going to have a sudden surge in, let's say they receive a big old inheritance or something. And at the same time, let's say they get a promotion at work. And at the same time, let's say, they they have family members that are just like talking good about them, and they're, you know, invited to go be a keynote speaker at some huge event, all because family members and friends nominated them or something. And then at the same time, maybe Gemini is either ready to meet the love of their life, or perhaps a Two of Cups relationship can now blossom. That I can see how that would be a lot to handle. And even good stuff, you know, there's stress, and then there's what they call EU stress. And it's good stress, but it still has the same impact. You know, it still is stressful. Like, you know, if you go home from a really great event and it was so fun, but you're also like, oh my God, I'm so tired. It's because, you know, you're in that heightened state. And I feel like that could be overwhelming, but thankfully it won't be for this Gemini, because again, they have the maturity to deal with this now. And intuitively, they might be saying, yeah, I would have run for the hills. I wouldn't have wanted to be singled out to receive awards or be a keynote speaker, or I wouldn't have wanted people to give me things. I would have given it back. I wouldn't have wanted to receive gifts, money, or, you know, celebration. And I'm not sure that I could have viewed myself as trusting that a partner would be madly in love with me and believe that I'm the one that is like walking this earth just for them. I don't know that Gemini could have received all of this before, and certainly not all at once. So this moment that has been preserved for the moment when Gemini was ready to receive it. I kind of love this because, you know, that old saying, like, you know, the creator will never give you more than what you can handle. And usually we think of that as, okay, I'll never be given more, you know, stress or trials and tribulations than what the creator believes I'm capable of dealing with. But we almost never think of it as, I'll never be given more fabulous things than I can, you know, cope with. And so this is, it's that message. Like, there's so much good that could be overwhelming, but it won't be. And here's our Gemini. With that Lover's card sideways, and you notice that we have, talk about the divine, we have like the angel overseeing all of this, and we have these lovers coming together. This is shared energy. So I'm wondering if perhaps Gemini's true match, true partner, is very similar to them. Like, they weren't ready for this match until now. They wouldn't have been ready and, you know, not been on systems overload until they got to this maturity level either. This feels like very shared, you know, like, that's true. I'm ready for you. You're ready for me. We're cut from the same cloth. Heck, they could be a fellow Gemini. We do have strong Leo in here. We also have Virgo, Pisces, Cancer. We have Gemini, Virgo. And what else? We had Aries as well. And now we have Virgo again with that Hermit. Yeah, whoever this perfect match is, they've been single and solo for quite a while. They've been out there trudging through their own landscape of their life as a solo, single individual who probably wanted to live a quiet life. I keep getting like these introversion type messages. Like, Gemini was an introvert. The person that they match with so beautifully was also on this, you know, like, introverted journey for a period of time. So neither one would have been ready for this relationship until this moment in time. So it's been preserved and saved for them. They didn't miss it. They didn't pass it by. It's that it hasn't been the right moment for these two until now, right? Because I said what's coming. Can we see how soon is this coming in for our Gemini? Let's go with this deck. Hi guys, Echo, Lauren Co, Nikki O, so great to see you. I said, how soon is this coming? 8 of Swords, Magician. There's that Magician again, right? So again, Virgo, Gemini. So maybe this is we got a lot of Virgo and a lot of Gemini energy in this. It's, to me, this says it's when Gemini's divine match finally like steps into their own power as well, because they've been stuck. We know they were in hermit mode. We can see that the guides have been here squawking and talking to this person saying, you know, you're not really stuck. They kind of, there's something here about this person who needed to get this sage wisdom, because here they are, you know, the kind of like the wizard out there learning, the magic of the cosmos. And then here they are, the wise sage that goes out into the middle of the desert, but has learned to work with, magic and energy flow, and is, cultivating that and working with it here. So we keep seeing this person. They could have a long beard, by the way. Does not have to be here. They're totally clean shaven, but they may have like an old soul energy to them, or like a, Merlin, the magician type of vibe. But I feel like they've worked very hard to become quite wise. It does say that when the love aspect of the story comes in is when they, meaning this Two of Cups magician person, when they are equally as ready for this romance. And keep in mind, what we saw first was Gemini starts out with abundance in multiple layers. And this usually looks like friendship, relationship that is non-romantic, and monetary types of growth first. And then we have like this lovely like gear shift where I think Gemini absorbs all of this and is like quite humbled by it, and then realizes this is my new life. I have a lot of success. I'm kind of sought after. I have a lot of awesomeness, and I can work with this, and I can do something amazing with this energy. And I'm realizing that I'm ready for this, and it's been saved for me. All of that happens before we get to kind of like the big wind up, which is, oh my God. And I have this Two of Cups. I have this lover. I have this person that I'm ready to meet and be a part of a relationship with. Is this person, does Gemini know them at all? Because this feels very new to me. It just feels like it's only just now the right time. Princess of Wands, I would say new, because this would be the Page of Wands in any other deck, which is that first little glowing ember of a spark of interest, a spark of attraction, a spark of excitement. So I'm going to say they do not know each other. I'm going to say that this is kind of a divine counterpart meeting divine counterpart. It seems unexpected. It seems mysterious. I don't know if somebody's going as Isis for Halloween or what, but she's got, the goddess Isis, wings on and everything. King of Swords. Somebody's dressed as a Viking. Somebody's dressed as the goddess Isis. I don't know why I'm going to like costume stuff, but I don't think that these two know each other. I think that there's a spark, and I think that there's, I'll say, since we're looking back at very old cultures, right? Vikings, and then of course, way, way older than that, Egypt. I'm wondering if it's more like when these two spot each other, meet each other. And it could be that our masculine spots the feminine first. Now, again, I don't care what genders we're talking about. This could always be same-sex couple, but who's ever in the masculine vibe may spot whomever is in the feminine vibe first. By the way, I don't know if Gemini's got amazing legs, but it looks like somebody's got awesome legs. He seems to notice her first, and she's quite mysterious, quite exotic. If that is the case, also, I could see this very much being the energy of a Queen of Wands as well, considering that we start out with a Page of Wands, and so far Gemini has shown up as somebody evolving into that Queen of Wands. So I wouldn't be shocked for Gemini to be like a super head turner. And if this masculine notices this Gemini, I gotta say, it brings up some primitive, like, you notice that he's got his wolves with him, and of course wolves mate for life. There's definitely some kind of like, whoa, who's that? Like, I already know that's somebody I've got to get to know them. I'm looking for long term. Suddenly I'm looking for my other half. So I'm not surprised that there is this like, I almost feel like they're gonna like the smell of Gemini too, just because wolves are so sensitive in what they can hear, what they can smell. I'm wondering if they are very like primitively awakened, and it's like, who's that? I smelled them before they walked in the door. It could be one of those things where there's like some serious raw hunger going on here. But that loyalty of the wolves definitely pairs nicely with that Two of Cups. So I would not be at all surprised that Gemini's on track to be meeting the person that is right for them. Look, this has been both this masculine and Gemini have had a pretty lengthy growth phase in their life before they were ready to meet each other, right? Because they had to go out there. Our masculine was out there as the hermit, then the magician, and even then they have to get themselves a little bit further unstuck. And Gemini is just the magical spatula that gets them unstuck. I don't know why I'm picturing somebody taking cookies off a cookie sheet, and it's like, you got to dislodge them. But if anybody could attract them enough to get them out of that final energy of the hermit, it's Gemini's presence in their life. And it almost seems like they see Gemini at nighttime from a distance. I don't know if they see Gemini walking. I don't know if Gemini's in a mini skirt, split skirt, whatever it may be. They may notice Gemini's legs first, let's be honest. But there is something and Gemini could just be wearing something kind of flashy, something gold on the top and not a whole lot on the bottom. I don't know. but they definitely notice. They definitely notice. And I'm not saying that they're first just attracted, in the lusty concept. I mean, it's certainly a part of this, but this is like them, like being awakened, coming out of that final energy of, I'm the wise sage out in the desert or out in the snow by myself. This is them saying, whoa, I want to come in from the desert because I just met somebody I want to go talk to. So they definitely are the ones approaching Gemini in this story. But again, it's after Gemini has a few other things that need to take place. So I don't know why, but I want to say Gemini has good stuff coming in really soon, but perhaps the love story doesn't come around until about October. That's what that seems like to me. And it's just because I can't get past the whole concept of like some kind of outfits or, like costumes. It just I keep thinking of somebody dressing up as, a Viking and as the goddess Isis. So that is what we've got on this one, but that's very beautiful. I love the fact that the big takeaway message is Gemini is just now ready to receive the kind of, support, success, and love that they have deserved for a long time. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Really great to see everybody. I am delighted to get a chance to get home in time to actually do a Gemini video tonight. So Cherry Coleman, thanks again. Hecate's Heart, great to see you. Hey, Echo. And again, Lauren Coe and Nikki O, thank you so much. Earth Angel 44.4, love that. Michelle Tressel, so good to see you. Don't forget, members, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I will be live in our members corner. And we're going to do some card pulls over there too. So I just want to let you guys know I'll see you in the morning, or you can just pop into that members section. Even if you can't stick around, just, as always, type the letter E and then you're entered to win. And I'll probably do about 40 minutes of card pulls. Okay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. My pleasure, Cherry. So good to see you. Nikki O, you sweetheart. Thank you. Bye, guys.